Okay, today we are going to be working on indirect object pronouns. Indirect object pronouns. So what I'm writing, you should be writing, and this will help you out. So, alright, so I've been drawing this chart for some time in class, showing you that you have your indirect object pronouns. If you don't know what OP stands for, you can write object pronouns or point up here, or you can just write out the whole word indirect object pronoun, whichever is easiest for you. Then you have direct object pronouns, okay? We're not doing direct in this video, so we don't need this side. However, this side we do need. Sorry, this is really crooked. I'm writing at a weird angle. So you have the two main ones that we've been working on, which are lui and le. Okay? So lui, this one replaces the word him, her, or if you're talking about a specific him or her, like you're talking about Matthew and Caroline, I don't know, specific people, or just him and her. Masculine and feminine objects. Okay? Then le is going to replace them and plural objects. And for plural objects, it's regardless of their gender. It does not matter what the gender is. If it is plural, you're always going to use le, even if it's masculine or feminine. Okay? So what exactly is an indirect object? Indirect objects are the people or things in a sentence that the verb happens to or for. So indirect objects are the people or things that the verb happens to or for. Okay? So for an example, I held the phone for my sister. Okay? What's our verb? To hold. What's being held? The phone. The phone's directly being held, so this is going to be our direct object. But who are we doing this for or to? Who are we doing this for or to? The sister. It's being held for the sister. Okay? For. So there are 3 rules that I'm going to go over that are going to help you with your indirect object pronouns, with placement and everything. So rule number 1. The indirect object pronoun always go before always go before the verb, no matter what. Okay? So in this example, je lui parle. This is your verb. This is your indirect object pronoun. This means I am talking to him or her. Okay? So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2. The object that the indirect object pronoun replaces does not remain in the sentence. So the object that the indirect object pronoun replaces does not remain in the sentence. Let me give you an example. So for example, I was saying je parle à Pierre. Je parle à Pierre. Who am I talking to? Talking to Pierre. So this is the indirect object. Okay? So when I were to rewrite this sentence, I would write it as je lui parle. I wouldn't then finish and put à Pierre right here because that would be restating what I just took away. So do not rewrite à Pierre. Okay? I'm going to go to the next page for rule number 3. If you still have space, keep writing, but I do not. Okay. So, rule number 3. The direct object can remain in the sentence. The direct object can remain in the sentence. So if you were saying, I have the phone for my sister, j'ai le portable pour ma sœur. You're going to be replacing ma sœur with the pronoun, so you would have je, lui, et, but then you could keep le portable because this is the direct object, so it still can work in the sentence. Je lui ai le portable. Okay? So let's do some examples. Let's look at number 1. She has the books for the students. For the students. Okay? She, elle, has les livres, the books, for les étudiants, the students. Okay? So, we know that books is going to be the direct object because that's what's being had. But who is doing the, who are we doing this for? For the students. Okay? So, these students is going to be plural. So, we're going to replace it with leur because leur is for them or plural objects. Okay? Remember, it has to go before your verb. So we would have elle, leur, then our verb, a, and we can keep les livres in there because that's our direct object. Les livres. So elle, leur, a, les livres. Okay? Let's try another example. I'm giving Antoine the money. Okay? We could say je donne l'argent. We've learned the word for money, l'argent, à Antoine. Our direct object, so what's directly being affected, is argent. But who are we giving this to? It's being given to Antoine. Antoine is masculine, but it doesn't matter because Louis is used for masculine or feminine. So we would replace Antoine with Louis. Remember, it has to go before your verb, and then we cannot reuse Antoine because that's what we're replacing. So we would have je leur donne. And then we can still use l'argent because l'argent is our direct object pronoun. Our direct object pronoun. So, je leur donne l'argent. Oh, sorry. That should say Louis. My fault. That should say Louis. Because it's just one person. Leur would have been if it were multiple people. Okay? So let's do some practice. Let's say, il offre un coca à Richard. Okay, this says he gives a Coke to Richard. So our direct object is Coke because that's what's being offered. He's offering him a Coke. Who is this happening to? Happening to Richard. We're going to have to put that before our verb, and we cannot reuse Richard. So I'm going to let you pause the video, and you are going to tell me what goes in this space here. So go ahead and pause the video. When you have your answer, unpause play and see if your answer is correct. Alright, for this one you should have put Louis because Louis is masculine and singular, and that's replacing Richard. Okay? Let's look at number 2. No, let's not do that one. Let's try tu as la carte pour Antoine et Rachel. So you have the map for Antoine and Rachel. Remember, you have your subject. Before your verb, you have to put your direct object pronoun, and you can still put your indirect object pronoun, and you can still put your direct object pronoun. So go ahead again, pause the video, figure out what goes here in this blank, and then push play again and see if your answer is correct. And for this one, you should have leur. Why? Because what is this for? It's for Antoine and Rachel. The two of them together is plural, and that makes leur. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 to do by yourself without my help. So let's try je réponds à Mademoiselle Jones. So I'm answering Miss Jones. I'm answering Miss Jones. Go ahead and pause the video. When you have your answer, you need to figure out what you're replacing it with. When you have an answer, unpause, play the video and see if your answer is correct. And you should have got je lui réponds. Okay? Lui, because Mademoiselle Jones is singular and feminine. Let's do one more. We have nous offrons la pizza à ma mère et mon père. Okay? So again, I want you to pause the video, figure this one out on your own. When you feel like you have the correct answer, push play and check to see if your answer is correct. And for this one, you should have received nous leur offrons la pizza. Okay? If you have any more questions, you can try replaying this video. If not, raise your hand and ask me, and I will give you some additional help.